Hi everyone, welcome to the Piper Serica Podcast where we explore bold investments, disruptive startups, and the technologies shaping tomorrow. I'm Satyadeep, and today we are diving into one of our recent investments at the Piper Serica Angel Fund, Inbound Aerospace. For those joining us for the first time, Piper Serica is a multi-asset management firm that manages different pools of capital. Among our offerings, a Cat 1 venture capital fund with a corpus of INR 300 CR. We invest in ambition founders building next generation of companies across B2B SaaS, fintech, and deep tech, including space tech, semiconductors, and the other emerging areas. We back those not just disrupting markets, but redefining that. Today, we are speaking with the founder of one such company, Inbound Aerospace, Dr. Aravind, the mind behind Inbound Aerospace. Dr. Aravind, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Pradeep.
So, Aravind, space has undergone a fundamental shift. Once we used to perceive this as a domain of exploration and scientific pursuit, but it's now unlocking the real world applications across industry. Could you start telling us a bit about inbound aerospace, and what inspired you to take this path, and how did your background led you to this venture?
Hi everyone. I'm Arvind. I'm currently building Inbound Aerospace, where we help to bring the benefits of space back to Earth. At Inbound, we are developing recoverable satellites or re-entry capable satellites. The objective of the satellite is to uh, facilitate customer payloads which require a zero gravity environment. And once the experiments or the manufacturing or the mission is completed, the spacecraft is able to deorbit and re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and land at a location where the customer would want to had to have anywhere around the world. This is what actually we are currently building, and we are developing different subsystems of the spacecraft are in the various stages of development. Is the current status with that. My background, I have a PhD in aerospace engineering. I worked on liquid rocket engines for my PhD during at from IIT Madras Aerospace Department. During the PhD, I was also involved in on a voluntary basis or the experiments performed at the uh, National Center for Combustion Research and Development Microgravity drop down. So this is a unique facility, the only kind of such facility in India, where you get 2 seconds of weightlessness. And it's a tower. Microgravity drop tower is the common term for this kind of facility. So this while we were engaging at the experiments, we actually faced a lot of challenges in getting to do clean experiments in terms of. So the idea is here there is a payload that is dropped from a 30-meter height. It takes around 10 seconds to reach the bottom and hit an airbag. And in the final 2 seconds is when you get the zero gravity. And so it was very difficult to get clean microgravity conditions. That is actually what prompted me to look at where can we get long duration zero gravity or weightlessness can it be recreated back on Earth. So this search led into this area of in-space manufacturing and understanding that the only place where long duration zero gravity or weightlessness is possible is in the International Space Station. So diving deeper into that solution is where we identify certain gaps in the current way things are done because it takes a lot of huge amount of waiting time to reach to fly a payload to the station and get it tested and come back. And then there are additional challenges in terms of humans in being present there in terms of from a safety point of view. And then there are the other biggest challenge that is happening is there are not many return vehicles available. So if you everything is now constrained to the SpaceX, NASA launch and return schedule. So only when a SpaceX capsule comes back, the payload also can be brought back. So, but many of the experiments cannot wait for 4 to 6 months for this time. So that is where we identified that that is actually the bottleneck, and that would actually can actually a lot of experiments can be brought back and can facilitate this experimentation for one of us. So this was the starting point of why this, and that had ultimately resulted in inbound aerospace.
Interesting. So, for our listeners who may be less familiar with this piece, can you break down a little about microgravity and the zero gravity environment, and why does it matter so much for the science and technology and for the upcoming emerging areas to cover?
Yeah. So the terms are actually interchangeable, although even at the altitudes, let's say around 400 kilometers in orbit, there is some gravity. It's of the order of temperature -6. So that is why the term is known as microgravity and not zero gravity. Uh, where you achieve weightlessness when you are falling to the center of the Earth. So when something is in a free fall, let's say you are in an elevator and the elevator fails, after some point you will be floating inside the elevator. That is because there is no reaction coming from the earth to your body. The same things are happening to anything that is orbiting, because they are continuously falling towards the earth, but because of the orbital speed that they are missing the earth, so they keep on rotating around the earth. So when in this weightlessness environment, three important things happen. One is absence of sedimentation. So substance with a heavier, denser substance doesn't settle down on a lighter medium. This is something that we are used to in Earth. This doesn't happen in us when you turn off gravity or in a weightlessness environment or a zero gravity environment. The second is absence of buoyancy. So there is no upward force exerted by the liquid on a lighter material, like the way bubbles doesn't rise up to the top of the denser liquid in a zero gravity environment. The third is absence of natural convection. So this is something that we see when we boil water. It sets up a convection current where the lighter hot water wants to go to the top and the denser wants to go to the bottom, which sets up a current is resulting in a motion. So this is also not there. It's purely based on molecular collision that the information that there is a hot region at the bottom of the container is transmitted to the top. So this three, absence of sedimentation, absence of buoyancy, and absence of natural convection, and combined with the other advantage with space is having vacuum is also available. This three provides a disturbance-free environment for many products which could be made better or can be made only in this kind of environment, because many of the products that we processes that we do have manufacture or work on Earth are actually dependent on gravity through either of these three means. It could be either a sedimentation or a convection or a buoyancy effect could be there. So those effects, those processes could be improved, or there will be an effect when it is taken to a microgravity. It could be crystallization from a solution for pharmaceutical application or for a diamond crystals or from a vapor or for a semiconductor crystal. So all the basic thing in that is crystallization, and crystallization from a solution or a vapor. And that is where its sedimentation is actually the root cause that is actually preventing larger crystals from forming back on. So because of the absence of sedimentation, larger crystals can be made. So this would ultimately result in more purer semiconductor crystals, more better pharmaceutical drugs, more potent drugs, and the size of the crystals are almost the same, very, very narrow size distribution. So these are the many advantages that we can actually get back leveraging this unique environment of space.
Great. So we have seen like such kind of applications which over the time have been realized by the world, and the experimentation industry and the manufacturing industry is looking to explore what to do ahead. But this is something which we have been looking for a quite some time. But ongoing the changes, the space industry has been evolving from past decade. From your perspective, what has changed the most in the how space is being leveraged for both innovation and commercial applications for now, which sets up a good timing for us to get into the space?
Yeah. So currently, space is going through a transition into commercializing aspects. So earlier, space was more of an exploration and research. Now it is more on the commercialization of it. How can we actually leverage this unique environment uh, and get the benefits back on Earth is one possible, or you can actually get the benefits in the space environment. So commercialization of the low Earth orbit is one transition that is facing now. This is supported by the reduced launch cost, actually, that is coming because of the large innovations happening in launch vehicle. Getting access to orbit is actually become more and more affordable as we move forward. So this is actually opening up new areas of the areas of space utilization which was not there earlier. It could be Earth observation satellites or communication satellites, Now there are or GPS, position navigation timing satellites. Now it is actually more and more areas. You could actually a company who is no longer connected with space can actually now utilize this opportunity to improve their processes back on Earth. So it could be a biopharma company which could never was earlier thinking about space could now utilize this environment to improve their processes back on Earth. So this is one major shift that is happening. So as how the low cost access to space was defined in the last decade, now the key bottleneck in that is now on demand, low cost return from space vehicles is actually what is going to change the game in this accelerating this economy for commercialization of the lower Earth.
Correct. So when we talk about the industries which were looking to low cost access to such kind of environments, so there were multiple approaches to go ahead for such kind of things. But why do you believe that having a modular spacecraft approach is the key to unlocking microgravity research and enabling commercial use cases?
Yeah. So the as I said earlier, the my research onto this area of how the problem of doing an experiment in the International Space Station is done currently, that led to identifying many problems. Is one is because of the presence of human on board, many experiments are cannot even get the qualify the safety criteria to fly to space because from a safety point of view. So this is where we thought about why can't we completely remove the man from the loop? So you can actually have an automated platform which does this thing and does the experiments or the manufacturing in space and then report back. You to make it why the modular concept is important because only then it is actually having frequent on-demand return is possible in this approach. So you will actually have the manufacturing part space, but the return vehicles will keep on coming and going with the raw materials and returning back with the finished products on a daily basis in the future or a weekly basis currently is what we are hearing for. So that is what actually a modular approach is. That is where it would be better and keeping man out of the loop. So it could be a completely automated platform which will can it has to be designed such that these experiments can be done automated, which is much more simpler than designing and over engineering your spacecraft so that it can meet the safety consideration.
Great. So that helps to clarify it. But when we say the returning of the vehicle, which can solve most of the things, so which itself is a bigger challenge for us to solve. So while approaching this problem, what kind of the challenges on a big scale that you see that which are aligning with us today and are existing for the industry, and looking ahead, how you look to overcome with such kind of great challenges which are quite big in a nature?
Yeah. So currently, the regulatory is one of our bigger challenge for a re-entry vehicle, especially for a country like India, where there is no re-entry vehicle that has ever landed inside the country's landmass. So this is one challenge that we will have to also go through. So for the launch vehicle, there is a clear cut path on how to get an approval for a launch. If one is already sorted out from through the in space and permission getting to launch vehicle through in space. So the way this regulatory is one bigger hurdle that we'll have to overcome. So the way we want to do it is ultimately when we talk about weekly returns coming back from space, we would have to integrate with the national air system where the air traffic controller is also, and we would want to land in a commercial runway. So initially, it may not be possible that way. So we will actually have to use our own runway on an unused airstrip to actually facilitate this experience where a no-fly zone for a time and a time window is enforced in that thing. So that is the way we would like to start with where there are no high-value assets on the ground like the way in airport. So we would actually have a runway that we would actually be landing it on our place or a research place like a test range kind of thing where we could actually get the spacecraft back on land. So that is the kind of approach that we are trying, for which the current policies permissions are exist, where you get a launch window or a re-entry no-fly zone window and a time associated with it, so that you can actually use the perform the re-entry maneuver. So this is one from the regulatory side. The technical challenges are re-entry is a hard problem, much more harder than the launch vehicle. So you have actually have a thermal management problem, and guidance, autonomous and precise landing problem. We have actually have a clear-cut plan on how to de-risk these challenges early on, as early as possible to sort these challenges early on. So we have a clear-cut plan about it, and we are working with that.
So lots of challenges exist in our pathway, but ultimately this leads to us that what we vision for as a sustainable business that is coming out. But what is the commercial vision that you carry for the inbound aerospace? Who will be your ideal customers, and how do you see the market evolving in the next few years?
Yeah. So the customer group could be classified into three major segments. One is in-orbit testing and technology demonstration, which are customers who want to test a subcomponent or a component in the space environment and bring it back. The second is customers who want to do microgravity research. And the third is the in-space manufacturing of products that have use cases back on Earth. So these are the three major areas in which our customers will fall into. And if you look at the market-wise, the space manufacturing, satellite manufacturing market is around more than $15 billion. So in that, if you look at the number of launches per year, a significant portion of it are technology to demonstration missions. So we want to tap into those technology demonstration missions into actually, instead of having risking a demo mission, you can actually fly and qualify the subcomponents and multiply and refly the same hardware, because we are bringing back the same hardware back from space. So something that was existing for the airborne flight testing, where you fly, you test, you come back, you analyze the data, and you possibly reply the same hardware, is something that we would want to bring into the space domain. That is for the in-orbit testing and technology demonstration. For the microgravity research and in-space manufacturing, the market is expected to grow more than 10 billion by 2030. So this is the newer area in which the low-hanging fruits are pharma and material science, so semiconductor manufacturing, semiconductor crystals. So high-value, low-volume products are the first that makes sense for this kind of application initially. So with launch costs coming even more further down, even smaller value products could also take advantage of the unique environment and growth. So it's a huge market that is waiting to unleash with the time moving forward. So that is where we want to actually. So we want to be the player who's actually pioneering this logistics service for all these kind of different um, companies or customers who are nowhere related to space. So we would want to be the aerospace part of them, doing the logistic part for going to orbit. Where we would book from an available launch vehicle and returning for them and giving to the customer.
Correct. So as we see and we agree to your points, so market is growing high, the demand is going to become bigger, so are the challenges. And to deal with challenges, any aerospace company requires more than just a strong product, it needs a great team. So tell us about your co-founders and the team, and what the unique strengths does each member bring to this mission, and how are we confident that we will be able to go through these challenges?
Yeah. So I have two other co-founders. One is Mr. Vishal Reddy. So he is a management science graduate from Columbia University, and he was formerly with Tesla. So he is completely taking off the operations of the company. So where with his prior experience of ramping up the production of the Tesla Model Y with the Tesla Gigafactory in Texas. So he is the perfect guy actually who does the day-to-day operations of the company, and he takes care of all the operations. The other co-founder I have as Captain Abhijit Bhute. He was actually a former MiG-29 fighter pilot in the Indian Navy. So he took early retirement and he joined us. So he wanted to actually, he was part of the training, qualified the test pilot, and was actually training with the 4 astronauts that was currently India selected. Then Navy decided to send him to Russia to induct the INS Vikramaditya, and that actually took away from his astronaut dreams. So he took a conscious call on deciding to quit Navy, and then planning to start go into the space area, where he would want to ultimately go into the space tourism market. And that is how actually we met, and he actually onboarded. So he is the actually perfect guy for looking at our business development and business operations, is what actually he leads into. And we have a series of advisors on the technical side on different disciplines of aerospace, all from ISRO, who have actually worked on similar problems of re-entry vehicles and reusable launch vehicles at ISRO.
Yes, very great to look at. So that's why we believe in your vision, and then we decided to back the team, and we found a very ideal construct to pursue this space further. But you must have been receiving other interest as well to take things further. So why did you choose to work with the Piper Serica to take things ahead?
So we feel that so the interactions that we had earlier with the team actually gave us confidence that they were actually uh, convinced of our vision. That is the major thing. And then the vision got aligned, and we felt that we would be actually be great and would be a good collaboration moving forward, so that we could benefit both actually from them, and we could they could benefit from us. And that is the why we thought actually it would be a good uh, win-win situation for both of us taking forward. Yeah.
That's very great to hear that. So, thank you so much, Arvind, for sharing your journey, the vision, and the bold future you are building at Inbound Aerospace. And we are thrilled to be the part of this mission to take things forward. And we are excited about what lies ahead. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning to the Piper Serica podcast. Stay with us for more conversations with founders who are shaping the future of innovation. So, thank you, everyone, for listening to us. And thank you so much, Arvind, for joining us and sharing this conversation and insights with you. Looking forward to work with you.